by film.
5,
Stand by music.
4,
Stand by announce.
3, 2, 1.
And fade up.
Sneaky little Robinsons.
Spider-Man, hero or menace?
Dear Indugo.
Dobby the house elf.
Who holds sway over the 5 points?
I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.
This is my family.
There's a hole in this cake.
You concur?
I'm a bloody island. I'm bloody Ibiza.
How about new? You crazy Dutch bastard.
I'll talk about more in a little bit, but it's probably more rum.
Yeah.
It takes more rum than I do whatever the stout would be, but no, it's good.
Give it time.
Oh, I've been recording. Okay, so
I've been recording.
yes, I did save it under Super Troopers. We'll see how this goes. We'll see how it goes.
This be great.
All right. Well, welcome everyone to the first happy hour episode of 20 Years, 4 Beers of our newest season, season 3. Woohoo!
Ooh.
We are a podcast dedicated to rewatching movies from 2 decades ago while simultaneously enjoying a minimum of 4 modern beers. My name is Steve, and this is my big brother,
Tim.
and we are coming to you from Minneapolis, Minnesota. We have just watched and recorded our episode on Spider-Man, so please go find that out. And as usual, we sit together afterwards and discuss another film over another beer. So we refer to these as our happy hour episodes.
Hey, you guys. Happy hour is from 4 to 6.
On
That's
this
right.
episode, we will be taking a break from any type of think piece film or Best Picture winner or any kind of look at the Marvel comic universe and what they did for it or anything like that.
So good.
In fact, we are going about as far from that as possible and talking about 2002's Super Troopers. Unlike Spider-Man, I will probably need to explain this movie to some of our listeners.
That's probably true.
Super Troopers follows 5 Vermont state troopers who are avid pranksters and epic screw-ups, as well as their captain, who are staring down a reality of closing their station as a result of state budget cuts. To save their jobs, they must outwit the local Spurbury Police Department to take down a drug smuggling operation. Unfortunately for them, they don't exactly have the right stuff to do so naturally, but what ensues is a low-budget comedic masterpiece, and in the end, they find a way to take down the bad guys, but do they save their jobs? Question mark.
Dun, dun,
Dun, dun.
dun.
Spoiler, no, they don't. So, all right.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, the film is directed by Jay Chandrasekhar. I do this every time.
You can do it.
Yeah, here we go.
Jay Chandrasekhar.
Chandrasekhar. Yeah, there we go.
Chandrasekhar.
Jay Chandrasekhar. Thanks, Google pronunciation.
Hey, Siri.
Yeah, so Jay Chandrasekhar, written by the Broken Lizard comedy troupe of Chandrasekhar, Kevin Heffernan, Steve Lemmy, Paul Soder, and Minneapolis' own Eric Stolhansky. I hope that didn't kill your trivia.
No, I had no
Okay,
idea.
Yep. The film stars those 5, as well as Brian Cox and Marissa Coughlan, who also is from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Really?
Yes.
We're all in the same boat, fellas.
But our shenanigans are cheeky and fun.
Yeah, I mean, his shenanigans are cruel and tragic.
Which makes them not shenanigans at all, really.
Evil shenanigans.
I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.
Hey, Farva, what's the name of that restaurant you like with all the goofy shit on the walls and the mozzarella sticks?
You mean shenanigans? Oh! You're talking about shenanigans, right?
Put those away!
Man.
Yeah. Do you have any initial memories of Super Troopers, Tim?
Yeah, it's
it
one
will
of those,
not be an opening weekend story like it was with Spider-Man.
It will not. It's one of those movies, though, that I cannot remember when I saw it, but I'm certain it was with friends after college.
Yeah.
Just either somebody had seen it or we're like, let's check it out. Because
Have you ever seen Super Troopers on weed?
So I'm sure we rented it and just enjoed it with beverages, I imagine, and just loved it. It became like a staple of our, what are we going to watch this weekend or hanging out. It's always on the background. Just loved it. And it's one of those movies that since seeing it, it has so many quotable lines in our kind of comedy lexicon that we reference or like, oh, and so yeah, I don't remember it becoming. It just wasn't like a event movie. It just is one of those things that in college or after he's like, yeah, let's hang out and watch a movie. And
it's 7 million or 20 million or something like that in the box office.
So it's good. How about you?
I remember this being one of the first movies I recall being like a word of mouth movie.
Absolutely.
Where I had to like go seek it out to rent it.
Yep.
Right at Blockbuster. And I don't recall seeing it the first time, but just, I mean, you sort of talk about it with people or friends or you or whatever, and you're just like, oh yeah, have you seen this? Have you seen this movie? And it sort of becomes that sort of first word of mouth film.
Totally.
Especially pre-major internet. I mean, it was obviously internet was around, but really pre obviously what we have now. Like that was, and it wasn't a big hit. And we're not talking about Napoleon Dynamite or My Big Fat Greek Wedding or anything like that. There's like these independent films that become huge hits.
And almost like a litmus test of like, video. You saw that? We know that? Oh my God. Yeah. This was, no one knew about this movie.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm the same way though. I've always watched this film when I want to be cheered up or I mean, it's probably been a few years since I had like sort of last watched it. I've seen number 2 more recently than I've seen number 1. So it's been a few years.
Yeah. I would say the original watching it last night with Ellen was like probably 5-6 years.
Did she laugh?
Oh my gosh, we'll get into that.
Okay, good.
It was it's been a long time, but just like sitting down to watch the original, it's been, I can't remember the last time, been forever.
Cool. So our first segment, as usual, then is Drinking Buddies.
Come on, not my fucking beer.
Where we present the 4 beers that we had, of course, 2 for each of us since we watched these separately. So Tim, who were your 2 buddies?
I had theme beers.
Look at you.
Both of them. You know,
hold on. Is it Modest? Super?
No.
No. Oh, is it?
No.
What's one I'm thinking of? What's the?
I can't even think of what you're talking about.
Modest has the is there blonde or whatever? Like it's the super.
Oh yeah, like their coffee
Supra,
blonde or whatever. Supra? Yeah.
Okay,
no, anyway. I was focusing specifically on honoring and respecting the love that the highway troopers in the movie have for maple syrup.
Oh my gosh.
So I found 2 beers that had maple syrup as a recognized ingredient in it, which surprisingly, in this time of year, you think like dark side, it was hard to find them. Sure. But anyway, I had Hope and Barrel Brewing. Or is it Hop and Barrel? Sorry. My autocorrect.
Yeah.
Sorry. I said Hope and Barrel. That's a weird one. Hop and Barrel.
Yeah.
Thanks, Google Docs. And Barrel Brewing out of Hudson, Wisconsin. They're Paul and Babes.
Is this the first beer you've had from them? I think you have not been to their tap room.
I have not been to the tap room. I think I've had an IPA last summer.
Okay, yeah.
But this is the one I kind of like, at least for the podcast.
Yeah.
They're Paul and Babes Breakfast Ale.
Okay.
Which was a golden ale with blueberries, coffee, and maple syrup.
Holy cow.
Yeah. It was a 3.5. It's one of those weird beers there's a lot of flavor for like an ale.
Blueberry,
coffee and maple syrup. Kind of like a breakfast syrup together.
Yeah, but usually you don't eat them together. No. They mix in your stomach.
Exactly.
They don't mix on your tongue.
For the flavor.
Mix in your stomach.
But it was actually a decent hint of blueberry and coffee together. It wasn't overwhelming. The syrup kind of made it nicely sweet. So it was just an okay beer overall. It was definitely agreeable. It was nice to kind of start with.
I'm curious about this one.
Then I had easily one of the most surprisingly impressive beers I've had in a long time.
Okay.
In terms of I'll give this a shot. So Humble Forager out of Waunakee, Wisconsin.
Waunakee.
Partnered with Horace Aged Ales out of Oceanside, California. Mm-hmm. They're Fishing with Horace Imperial Coffee Stout.
Okay.
With roasted hazelnuts, toasted coconut, coffee, and maple syrup. 4.75.
Wow.
This beer is knock your socks off incredible. In terms of, I remember opening it and being like, wow, this smells good. It is thick. It's one of those stouts. It's like, it probably is like a pastry stout in many ways, but 13%.
So it's like viscous?
It oil pouring out.
Yeah.
But the hazelnut, coconut, coffee, syrup together, unbelievable. The taste blending well together.
It's
hazelnut, coffee, coconut, and maple syrup. So in the last episode, we had coconut, super subtle. This is much more prominent, but not overwhelming. But the combination, it's almost like a macaroon with coffee and syrup and the stout. I'm going to give you the other can. You can have it and take it home because It's ridiculously good.
Yeah,
So
sounds
I
like
was
a strange brew.
It definitely is a strange brew
Take off, you loser. You take off, you numb.
because I did not expect it. I was like, oh, maple syrup, cool. And I sipped it. I looked at Ellen and I go, oh my god.
Well, she would have hated it.
And I was like, she smelled it. She goes, wow, that's a lot going on there. So yeah, she had no interest in it, but it was, it's good. So yeah, I'm happy I got a second can. You can have that. So that was mine. How about you?
Well, mine, boy, I didn't think at all about my beers, but
You're welcome.
yeah. So on that note, I'm glad I went second. So I think I had out of, well, I guess, I had Bad Habit Brewing's Peanut Butter Dark Addiction Chocolate Milk Stout. You've had that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yep.
It's really good. I had a 4.25 out of 5 on that one. It's always good. Like,
Yeah. It's solid.
Dark Addiction's a great
like
chocolate milk
base.
stout anyway,
Yes.
as a base. I had that with my friend Michael from 56 Brewing.
Oh, good for you.
Oh, good for you.
Oh, tell me more.
And that's how we got our beer that we're going to talk about here in a minute. And also, he gave me another one and then I drank that, which was the 56 Brewing's out of Minneapolis. Their Beach Please Pineapple, which I love. Beach Please is a great name for a
That's a
beer.
great name.
So it's Beach Please Pineapple, Passion
Beach
Fruit,
Please.
and Guava
Ooh, guava.
sour. Really solid. I would say it rivals their raspberry sour for their best sour. Like, I
Nice.
like their raspberry sour. We've
Yeah.
had it, I think, on
Uh-huh.
previous episodes. I had a 4.25, so it wasn't like world beater, but it was really good. Nice flavor, pineapple, passion fruit, and guava. But yeah, I did not think, similar to when I just am in the mood to put on Super Troopers, I don't think about it.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna have these beers. So yeah, there you go. So what are we having right now?
Then we have tonight from 56 Brewing.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. The Crate Dragon Appleton Estate Jamaican Rum Single Barrel Aged Imperial Stout. 10% ABV. This is really good.
Yeah, this might be one of the best beers I've had from 56.
Yeah.
Mm.
And the rum I find to be somewhat hit or miss depending on some dark stouts with rum kind of just mellow out. I don't know.
LTD's got a good one. There's a few, but yeah,
This is really
and the
good.
flavor's coming out more. And I don't know if that's because our last beer from the podcast prior was the
Sure.
coconut stout. So it was like my first drink was like, oh, I'm tasting the rum, but now I'm getting the flavor, whatever's coming out.
Yeah,
it's really good.
It's hitting the spot.
Yeah, I'm around a 4 or 5 in my head right now.
Yeah,
I'm
I'd
like,
say
yeah,
4 or
this is
5. That's 4 or 5. That's good. That's good.
perfect. All right, so we'll just jump into our next segment then, I guess, which is the social network,
If you guys were the inventors of Facebook, you'd have invented Facebook.
where we take a look back at the critical and fan reception from 20 years ago. This one is an interesting one to read back, the reviews, because what we know of it now is that it's a kind of a cult hit that relied on college-age kids, like we
Yep.
were around that time,
Yep.
to talk about it and spread the word. This was not a box office smash. It was not. So it's kind of interesting to read the reviews. I have Ed Gonzalez of the New York Times.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to see what the pompous a-holes at the New York Times thought about this. Said, quote, think Police Academy without the frat boy sexology. It's earnest and retroactive, but feels entirely too much like a stoner basketball match. Constantly throwing hoops, it misses most of the time. The film's techno Euro trash swinger scene is hysterical, but a grim reminder of the unpredictability of Broken Lizard's freestyle comedy shtick. To quote Brian Cox's chief highway patrolman, Super Troopers is entirely too antsy in the pantsy. Which, I love the fact that a New York Times writer is trying to make some serious article and still has to quote antsy in your pantsy.
in your
so
pantsy.
you immediately lose anything to do with whatever pompous a-holeness you are by having to say it's too antsy in the pantsy. Nope,
Yes.
you lose it. Because already that quote is hilarious. And now you just double down on it.
So good.
Yep.
Yeah, it was one. So IMDb.
How many Oscar nominations did this movie have, Tim?
I had to search.
We'll get to it.
I had to search real hard for that. Yeah, the IMDb rating is 7.1 out of 10, which I was kind of happy with that.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like looking through for critics at the time, it's one of those things of, yeah, really? Like, do you not know what you're getting into with this? It's just, you can tell well in advance what you're getting into. So, A.O. Scott, who must have either come to the Times, he's New York Times, said, "You laugh neither with it nor at it, but rather sit counting the minutes while the movie laughs for no good reason at itself." And you're right. In hindsight, I'm like, how dare you? You're a dumbass. But then...
what is A.O. Scott doing reviewing Super Troopers?
Exactly. It's like, whatever,
That's
man.
for Ed Gonzalez, whoever the hell that is.
Yeah.
That's who reviews.
Exactly.
A.O. Scott is not who reviews Super Troopers. So it's probably a review at the time or a secondary review or
or like retroactive. Yeah. Tim Cogshell of Box Office Magazine.
Hey.
That's right. Super Troopers is an odd amalgam of comedy genres existing somewhere between the often literal riffs of early Zucker Brother films and the decidedly foul stylings of their postmodern contemporaries, the Farrelly Brothers. I was like, that's pretty good. Like it's all over the place, but it works. Roger Ebert actually didn't like this one. 2.5 out of 4 stars.
Same as Spider-Man.
Yes.
So here we are.
So weird to think about that. I know it's other stars. I'm like, really? The same of 2.5 stars? Okay.
No, but that's okay because that means Raj at least appreciated what it's supposed to be for.
Yes, for its worth. He said, I can't quite recommend it. It's too patched together, but I almost can. It's kind of a movie that makes you want to like it.
Damn it.
Right?
Raj, like,
yeah.
He sucks so hard.
He's all over
often.
Exactly.
And yet.
Like the Lord of the Rings was like, how dare you? And I'm like, okay, yeah.
Tim goes to sleep at night dreaming of how he could have stabbed Roger Ebert based on that Lord
Go
of the
back
Rings
in
review.
I know.
I'm like, I'm just going to stab. I'm not going to kill you, but I'm going to stab you for that.
Go back in time after Siskel died, be like, I will take his place.
Yeah.
And we will battle wits.
Siskel should have taken you with him.
So that's the social.
Too soon?
Yeah.
All right.
And as you
Anyway,
mentioned,
yeah.
Academy Awards,
How
I had
many-
to search.
Were there any MTV Movie Award nominations?
Only the awards in my heart.
Okay, so we're just gonna go right into High Fidelity then,
Top 5 side ones, track ones.
which is our reaction segment, and I don't know, man. I had a hard time coming up with like, what the hell are we gonna talk about?
Well, I got
with
some
this
thoughts,
movie?
but I agree. I was like,
got some thoughts.
really?
but
Yes.
This is not a movie that you sit down and go, boy, I really enjoyed like the subtle
social
nuance.
commentary.
Yeah, the subtle nuance of whatever. You're like, no, this is not that kind of movie. Which is interesting for us because I think that might be why with like Zoolander,
Yes.
I think I don't know if we were trying too hard, and you did not have a good experience watching it with Ellen.
No.
And I would have enjoyed watching it with somebody who like really loved that movie. So I
Yes.
think we both had, whereas like this movie I watched by myself, boom, 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 all the time.
Yes.
And like you watch with Ellen, I mean, so the experience matters,
It does. And
But
for comedies, it definitely matters as far as there's a weird vibe.
Yeah.
So, side note, I remember watching Monty Python, Holy Grail in high school and thinking this movie is straight garbage.
I hated that movie.
It's
for
so
years.
dumb. And then you watch it with people
Yes.
and you go, oh, it's a collective experience for a comedy. Comedies are so different from that collective experience. You're right. So yeah, I watched it last night with Ellen and holy God, we were laughing non-stop at this movie. And I haven't seen it again in so long, but
Yeah.
it's so dang funny.
Yeah.
It's so it's stupid. Like, the review talked about like lowbrow comedy. Like, yes, it's so dumb and wonderful and hilarious.
Yeah, it's unabashedly lowbrow.
Yes,
it's not,
they lean
but it's
into
also
it.
not crude. And that,
No.
One of the things I hate about 80s comedies that always like those 80s sort of like Porky's and
Yes.
they turn into, they're funny, but then they turn to like crude humor in a lot of ways.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, there's some things in this that are a little crude.
Yes.
But you just go, it's not that it's a different feeling for me.
Yes.
But so I guess I do my first
you go
take
first.
then I suppose. I had a hard time narrowing down anything to specifically talk about. ... But I did realize that this is probably a top 5-ish film for me in terms of quotability.
Yes.
And I was like, Anchorman, Dumb and Dumber.
Yes.
For me, Tropic Thunder, and not everybody. But so
Sure.
if you took that out, but globally. Let's take
Yes.
Tropic Thunder out of there.
Yes.
Wayne's World and Monty Python, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean that. But then this, like, if I quote the shenanigans scene we'll talk about, or like, there's so many scenes that anyone who's watching movies of our era, especially of our age,
Of
like
our
not
age. Yes.
everyone, but just of our, I suppose I'm thinking of our sort of generation.
Yes.
God, it's full of, so, and you're just like, it's littered with classics such as the shenanigans scene,
I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.
the bulletproof nut cup, which is just priceless.
Oh, that little guy. I wouldn't worry about that little guy. Good enough for me. You're my man now.
The meow traffic stop,
All right, Meow. Hand over your license and registration.
the bear costume scene, the bear effer.
Excuse me. Yeah. There. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Just to name a few, there are plenty of comedic lines and scenes that just keep going. And I was sitting there like, yeah, I feel like this is one of the more quotable. And I used to think that about Zoolander, and there's some good quotes in Zoolander, and I used Jerry Stiller multiple times in our awards episode one, and it's like, but no, it's overall just the quotes in this. You just sit there laughing, and it's really, yeah, I love it. So
yeah, I would throw in Tommy Boy as like a,
yeah
5.5 if you will.
As a kid.
Yes, but this, yeah, I had the same thing watching it, and just I don't take notes while I'm watching it for these ones like happy hour and that kind of thing about the next day. But it was definitely today. I was like, what are we gonna write together? But so my first thing was, it's interesting watching a comedy last year that was well received, had a high profile cast, relied on lowbrow humor, and ultimately released a sequel long after the original came out, which was not funny at all watching it again. So Zoolander, like you mentioned.
And also Zoolander 2, not funny.
I haven't seen it, and I have zero interest because to me it's like,
I mean,
you're going back to the well.
moments, but it's just not. Yeah.
And then Super Troopers, not well received, had a nobody cast outside of Brian Cox.
Yeah.
Used even lower brow humor, and ultimately had a sequel long after the original came out, and it's ridiculously funny. So you think about a year-ish apart, like, it's just thinking about how, and this the line in the first movie, like, we're so close to our nuts are close to the bandsaw, and then the sequel has that act.
Oh,
so
even beyond that, where
it's a deep cut.
Farva, Kevin Heffron is like, "Who wants cream? Who wants cream?" And they have the Canadian version, and Super Troopers 2 is like, "Cream fraiche? Who wants cream fraiche?"
It's
nobody.
So good.
I was in the theater watching that, dying of laughter, and that was a crowdsourced almost film, right?
Yeah.
Like it was, and I was the only one laughing at that moment of the
God.
cream fraiching. Maybe it's because those idiots didn't know what cream fraiche was.
Probably,
but
yeah.
Anyway,
but it's funny seeing, watching these again and thinking, oh, I can experience like these things we know of. It's so funny. Zoolander, huge miss. This still holds up, still quotable, still incredible, just ridiculously funny.
So stupid.
Oh yes, yeah. Again, check your brains at the door. It's so funny. Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I love comedies like this, though, that they have. We've mentioned a few of them, too. Like, Tommy Boy has probably more story than this does. But, like, I love comedies that have a simple story, nothing too in-depth that would pretend to be deeper, no allegory of whatever. Like, no deeper plot, but enough to keep you mostly interested, but have tons of laughs along the way. Little vignettes, and this has a lot of little things like along the way that are just little scenes, that don't advance the story at all. Lots of callbacks, mindless entertainment at its finest for me. Like, you can check your brain at the door, like you said, but also it's still funny. Like, it's not something you put on in the background. I don't put this movie on the background if I want to be focused on something else, though.
True.
But there are some movies that you put on the background that you can be on your phone the whole time, or you can be like doing work.
I'm folding laundry. Yes.
So this, I kind of like, I still want to watch it and laugh my way through it.
Yes.
So as a movie, there are more flaws than I can count. But as entertainment, it is always a movie I can put on to brighten my mood.
Absolutely.
Like, it's that's what I want.
Absolutely.
God, it's so good.
I
wasn't really worried that it wasn't going to hold up because I watched it enough over the years, but I was worried about, like, how the hell are we going to talk about this?
Yes, exactly.
So we really could just sit here and quote it for the next 20 minutes.
True.
That's
but it was a different thing. Yeah, exactly. It's like, I've seen this so many times that it's in our, we quote it all the time and
yeah.
joke about it. It was something to sitting down and thinking, I'm going to have to talk about it in a not critical lens, but just a more, deconstructing it than I've ever done in the past. So it's a kind of a fun, challenge, if you will. But yeah, for me, movies like this, which are clearly made on a lark, if you will, by a bunch of friends, have no business being as funny as this. I just love these, where it comes out of nowhere and you think, how is this cult
Napoleon
classic?
Dynamite is another one
Yes.
like that. Like you're just like, how is this movie
on a
how did this get
shoestring
made?
budget?
Yes.
You make it, and it just is so dumb at times, but it creates a world in which what I love about this movie is that it leans into the absurdity of it, and it really kind of appreciate, like you talked about with the metal nut cup. It's totally acceptable and hilarious. These characters would be doing this, so it creates a world in which this is just how these idiots operate, and it's just these are my kind of movies.
I invented this gag, Rabbit,
for the rookies. Yeah.
Although my day we use blanks. Mac, you're a sick mother effer.
Yes.
Thanks, Cap.
It's so great. Like the absurdity. It's unfortunate that the Broken Lizard effort couldn't recapture what they did in this movie with other movies. Beer Fest
is good.
is the rare exception. Club Dread.
No, that was not good. But they
Slam and
was
Salmon.
good. Salmon, yeah.
Not good. But Beer Fest is the other one that I appreciate.
Absolutely.
Very good. But it and the sequel, I would say, I appreciate it. But yeah, I just think as I was thinking about it today, I was like, these are just my cup of tea movies. Love it.
Yeah, I mean, unapologetically, I'm just saying, and that's, I think, where from a reviewer standpoint, I wish more reviewers remembered what it was like to actually enjoy movies.
Yes.
Like, just not to criticize them, but just more be like, I remember what it was like to enjoy going to the movies or like watching it. And in particular with this, and most reviewers see these on their own at home or on their own in the theater.
Yeah.
One of the things I already mentioned a couple times, but Napoleon Dynamite, you and I, we saw it together. And you come home, and when we first saw it, it was like, that was okay. It was fine. But it was more like, as you started quoting it together, it became funnier and funnier and funnier. And
you see it again.
is the same way. And so you just quote along the way, and you wait for the quote. And it's the type of movie that if everyone's watching it together, you're like, shut up.
Yes.
Like,
stop saying the line.
This line
before
is
the
coming.
line.
Yes. And I love that.
Yes. Oh yeah, we were quoting it all last night.
I was too, by myself. I was just like out loud.
Yep.
Like, yep.
So good.
Yeah, I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy and say shenanigans.
Hey, what's that restaurant you like all the stuff on the walls?
You mean shenanigans? Oh, you're talking about shenanigans, right?
Oh, the soap scene. Yeah.
Which did you know that was white chocolate, but Cox is actually.
I figured it wasn't soap,
yeah,
but
Cox is actually diabetic. So
genius move.
So he spits
Give
it
the
out.
actor white chocolate
exactly, and he
to
spits
spit
it
out
right in his face because he's actually diabetic.
I got you so good, you stupid.
The only other, I don't have much else really, but like moving off of that, I literally never realized until watching this that Saint Anky Beer Company is Stanky Beer. I never knew that.
Oh,
I mean, I didn't notice it. I was just like, huh, Saint Anky. Stanky beer. Oh, I love it. I was like, proof that you don't need to pay too much attention to the details in a movie like this, but impressive enough that they actually, like, there were some details. People actually did have some thought in this.
Yes.
Saint Anky Beer.
I wrote down my favorite subtle joke in this is that didn't stand out at all throughout the years I've watched this, is when the trooper and the female cop meet at the restaurant trying to be all discreet, and she's dressed like a groupie of some band, her hair is all kind of teased out,
She's dressed like
and he's dressed in bicycle gear, and he gives a throw in like, biker.
Takes off his helmet.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot.
And that is so incredible in terms of the comedy of, oh, you were thinking that biker, I'm that biker. And it's like a quick thing. Oh wait, I will admit a bit of an embarrassing tidbit here.
Uh-oh.
So early last,
I was like, wait, Have you been outside of police station in your underwear,
Yeah.
like flashing an officer?
So I got high in the back of a cop car, went to Mexico. No,
I love that scene. At the beginning.
Yeah, the beginning.
The beginning so
beginning
good.
10 minutes is just
boys
incredible.
Like Mexico?
Yeah. Early last year, my daughter read Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Sure.
In second grade. And after she finished, we watched the original movie with Gene Wilder. Because a lot of times as she's reading books, we go, oh, this is a movie. Let's watch it. And I know I've seen this movie, again, long ago. The Willy Wonka movie had no kind of presence of like the memory.
Yeah.
More so it's kind of cultural presence. So when the kids are touring the factory and we watched it last year and Wonka says the snozberries taste like snozberries, I look at it and I go, oh my God, this is not from Super Troopers. This is from like a 50-year-old movie in Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
She's like, you didn't know? I'm like, no, I had no idea that this line in this movie where the kid that ate all the drugs is like eating, like licking the walls of the car, the little glass.
The snozberries taste like snozberries.
20 years after, I was like, holy crap, I get the joke now. Yeah.
You ate like $120 worth of
$130, yeah.
$130 worth of weed, man, or like drugs. But for real, I'm gonna need that money.
I mean that money back whenever you get a chance. Yeah, it's just, oh God.
Yeah. The one I'm always like littering and yeah. There's so many quotes in this too.
Really quick, kudos to the Farva actor.
Yeah.
I forget his name.
Kevin Heffernan.
Heffernan, like this movie is all about like leaning into kind of the self-assured characters that are around him, but he's so arrogant and stupid and incompetent, and I so love.
Can I get a liter of cola? Can I get a liter of cola
for a cop? Like it's just I so value comedic actors that lean into that. You are a like unredeemable character. And you're just terrible in so many ways. And you just lean into it. It's okay. Like the delousing scene where he's just standing out there like naked. Like, whatever.
Powdered sugar.
Powdered sugar. It's just
the delousing scene, give him credit.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean full frontal male nudity in film is typically men who are very well endowed. Timothy Chalamet and the King. Or excuse me, not Timothy Chalamet. Chris Pine.
Yes, Chris Pine, yeah.
Yeah, congratulations to whoever is around Chris Pine. So
Pine.
Yeah, it is, and you're like, oh no, he's normal, he's opposite, and he's just like, nope, there you go. Not only that, he's like wet and covered in powdered sugar, and Heffernan's like, yep, here we go.
Yep,
good on him.
Whatever you need. Yeah,
he's so good.
It's
everyone is though. I mean, like everyone does exactly what they're supposed to do.
Yeah. It's just, I'm so happy we watched this again because talking about it.
I do wish we had been able to watch together. So it would have been fun to just quote it along.
Yes.
But, next time.
But it's so good.
I don't have any other really final points on it. I'm like, there we go. So then I guess we will come to our final segment or last segment, whatever, which is Quiz Show.
The exciting quiz program, 21.
Where we search for trivia surrounding our film and try to stump the other. And I do have a couple. I didn't like go out of my way to look too much,
Yeah.
I have one that's a super stretch, but then I have another one. Do you have a couple?
I have random stuff. So, so Brian Cox, again, the trooper chief captain or whatever.
Yeah.
He starred in countless movies and shows. He's on, Succession. Huge guy, even doing voiceover work for McDonald's commercials.
Yeah,
I did that last night. And I was like, "Where have I seen this guy?" I'm like, well, he was in Succession, and then yes. In what 2005 fantasy epic was Brian Cox originally cast as one of the main voice actors, only to be replaced by Liam Neeson?
Really?
So it's
Chronicles of Narnia.
Yes.
Yeah. I was like
Aslan.
I was thinking animated film because you kind of had said that, and I was like, no, yeah. So, yeah. No, Liam Neeson's absolutely Aslan.
I remember reading that back in the day, being like, why would you have Brian Cox this character? No. Liam Neeson.
Which, whatever. If you're gonna watch anything with Brian Cox, watch Adaptation.
Oh God, yes.
Like he is so good in that movie.
Yes.
All right, so troopers Mac and Foster make a bet in the terrific meow scene.
Oh gosh.
That Foster cannot say meow 10 times. to a traffic stop person, right? Like a person in the car. How many times does he actually say meow in that scene?
Oh gosh, it's not 10. He asked to be 10, and I was counting along. I want to say 12.
You want to say that, or is that your answer?
Oh, because I would do 12.
It was 11.
Oh, because I remember being like,
yeah,
he's like one more. And it's like,
yeah,
he's
no,
already
he
10.
had 10.
He's at
yeah,
10.
But there was one that was really quiet, but yeah, it is in there. So he actually says it 11 times.
I love this. Jim Gaffigan.
Oh yeah, am I dancing around all nimbly bimbly? Am I drinking milk from a saucer? I love it.
God,
love that
just
scene.
incredible. More Brian Cox trivia.
Ooh, Manhunter.
Okay. Yep.
What do you got?
It's like who? Yeah. It was basically the whole thing. Like
All right, go ahead. Ask your question.
It was a main character that won.
It
doesn't matter. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So Brian Cox originated the character that eventually won. I was going to type it out.
Oh, I totally crapped on you.
Anthony Hopkins won the Oscar. No, don't be crap.
I would look so good being like, oh, Manhunter.
Yes.
Yeah. Terrific is Hannibal Lecter, actually, Manhunter.
I've never actually seen it.
Really?
Michael Mann movie? No, I've never
really
seen it.
good.
No.
Really good.
I hear it's good.
William Peterson? He's really good in it.
It's good.
So sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
He originated the role of Hannibal Lecter.
Again,
that
limited trivia.
Oscar-winning. Yes, I see.
Yes.
I see where you're going
Anthony
with
Hopkins,
it. Anthony
yep.
Hopkins. Sure.
Yep.
Well, on that note, I'm gonna piggyback off that. Actually, there are actually 2 actors in this movie who have connections to Thomas Harris Hannibal Lecter movies.
Oh,
yeah, Brian Cox,
Manhunter. It's the police chief for. He's one of the SWAT guys.
Mm-hmm. Look at you!
Yeah,
good job. Yeah, Daniel Von Borga. God bless you, man.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, Daniel Von Borga. Good Lord, is in Silence of the Lambs, and he has that small part, and he's in the SWAT. And when it's one of those, if you know, you know.
Yes.
Because you watch him, and he's so prevalently on screen.
Yes.
Like, oh, that's who, yes, he is in that. So well done.
That's a staple around the Halloween time. We always watch. Love it. This is not Broken Lizard's first film. They had a movie come out in 1996. That was their original movie. Can you name that movie?
No, I can't.
I had no idea either until today.
I had never,
Puddle Cruiser.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's like people talking about like the South Park guys in Cannibal the Musical.
Yes.
Like, if you know, you know.
Yes.
Because if you've seen Cannibal
It's
the
a deep
Musical,
cut.
it's an absolute classic of a film. Go watch it. But
Puddle Cruiser.
Huh.
Yeah.
What is it called?
Puddle Cruiser.
I don't want to watch it.
I don't either. But it was like, oh, I thought this was the original. Nope. This is their second one. So
that's about all I got.
That's all I got. No.
Yeah, I don't have.
It's just.
I kind of figured we would like quote the movie for a while. People just like listen. I don't know.
Like, great on you guys for quoting a movie that we can watch ourselves. If you know, you know. If you haven't seen it, if you're like in the demographic of 20 to 50, you'll enjoy it. Mom and Dad, you ain't gonna like it.
Yeah, Jim and Sue. Sorry.
Yeah,
no,
hard
you're
pass.
Out. You're out. No. But it is. It's. I mean, there are a few similar to. There are a few movies that I watch, and this will sound sad, but it's not meant to be. But like, if you're like in the mood for a cry, like sometimes you're in the mood for a downer movie, right? And I'll watch. Perks of Being a Wallflower is my example of just like I love that movie anyway. It's a great movie, but just like if I'm in the mood for it, or Life is a House, we covered
Green
last year,
Mile.
Green Mile.
I will sob.
Right, but you got to sit through 3 hours of a film to get there, right?
Oh, but there's a lot of crying with
it's
that,
great,
yes.
but you just go. So similar to that, on the comedy side, there should be the opposite, right?
Yes.
For every yin yang, there's a yang, and
Yep.
so
That's good.
there should be a garbage comedy.
Yeah.
That like I love Tropic Thunder, but Tropic Thunder is more highbrow than this movie.
Oh
is.
God, yes.
And so I'm just saying, there should be a lowbrow comedy. I appreciated the review you talked about the Farrelly Brothers. Similar. I mean, there's no story to most of the Farrelly Brother movies.
No.
Dumb and Dumber is an all-time classic.
Yes.
I love that you and Dad saw it together.
Yes. So amazing.
You know what movie Dad and I saw together as a result of you seeing Dumb and Dumber with Dad?
No.
Because he had that experience with you, and it was great. And Dad and I saw Happy Gilmore together.
Oh.
And now I enjoy Happy Gilmore a lot. Dad did not like that at all. And there's like,
yeah,
Julie Bowen in the lingerie, and like as an effed up weird Adam Sandler and the Farrelly Brothers are two very different styles.
Very
of humor.
different comedy styles.
It was not enjoyable.
Yes.
It was not a good time. I love a movie like this. It just says we are, you said it, leaning into what we are.
Yep.
It's not perfect. It's not great. Story is stupid.
Yeah.
Like, we haven't, like, there's no explanation of why Johnny Chimpo in the Afghanistan animation is a thing.
Yes.
Like, there's no explanation of why this is on this Canadian drug smugglers. Like, nope. It's just, it could have been funnier even. They could have added some of that too. But there's no explanation of that. You have no idea. All of a sudden, Ursula, Minneapolis' own, but like Ursula's like in on, she knew the whole time. You had no idea. Like, it's just, no, it's so bad if you think about it from a movie standpoint, which is why critics suck, because they always come at it from a critical standpoint.
What is this serving the plot?
No.
Yes.
What plot?
No.
What plot?
Yes.
It took me 10 seconds to write the synopsis to this.
Yes.
It's not a deep thinker of a movie.
No.
But I love these movies.
Yes.
Anyway,
Absolutely love them.
So there we go. All right. Well, that actually brings us to the end of our happy hour. Went longer than I thought it would, to be honest with you. A happy hour episode on Super Troopers. Stay tuned for our February films, which, as of right now, are My Big Fat Greek Wedding, Panic Room, David Coop, and assuming we have the time, we'll do The Rookie, starring Dennis Quaid, which Tim has never seen.
Never seen it.
Head to our website for more info on the rest of the year's movies as well. We want to say thank you for taking the time to listen and for clicking that like or subscribe button on your devices. Find us on Twitter at years_beers and on Facebook, or head to 20years4beers.com. This has been 20 Years 4 Beers. My name is Steve.
I'm Tim.
And thanks for listening.
Thanks.
Pompous a-holes at the New York Times.
I get the joke now.
Look at you. He sucks so hard.
So I got high in the back of a cop car, went to Mexico. You're a dumbass.